This is going to be an update video. Got some requests for some vehicles, so to find out what's happening with some of this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. For all the vehicles that I will be listing or doing a quick update, I will post either walk around videos or the playlist or both for each individual vehicle down in the description. So if you're interested in a particular vehicle in this video, you can check out the description. There's going to be links to the other videos with the cars. So this is going to be kind of a quick list of the cars I'm going to be doing the updates on. Then followed by a couple of my just daily driver beaters, and then followed up by a couple of vehicles I'm planning on getting. So we'll start off with with the list here. We're going to be going over my 44 G506, which got a Dana 60 front, Dana 70 rear axle, currently no drivetrain. We'll go over my Chalmers WC. We'll go over my Weldon, my Farmall 504, the 41 G506, my red Fiero, which is actually currently in the background. Then the white Fiero, which I had an accident with. My 85 Camaro, which the engine is sitting right over there. Then my 96 Camaro, my Dodge Stealth, my 89 Thunderbird and my 89 Cougar, my K30 one-ton truck, my F250 diesel swap, my 73 Riviera, my 1990 Reatta, and then my daily drivers are like my 98 S10, my 99 Silverado, and my 2000, I think it's a 2003 Ford Focus. And then followed up by two project vehicles I'm planning on getting. One is a 2005 Cadillac. I actually do own a Cadillac, but I don't really have any videos of it because daily driver, I kind of more or less gave it to my mom. Then, but I'm picking up another 05 that currently won't start. It's something to do with a security issue in the computer, so that should be hopefully an easy, cheap fix. Then one I actually just looked at here is an 88 Firebird with a 305 twin port fuel injection. So we'll go over those vehicles a little bit, and yeah. Well, the first vehicle we got going on here is my Army truck. This has got the Dana 60 front axle, Dana 70 rear. Like I said, I'll have a link of the playlist and stuff down in the bottom. Kind of going on with this truck is so far not a lot. I haven't touched it in a couple of years. But oh, there's that diff cover. Yeah, that thing is not. That's some serious piece of steel there. As it sits right now, I got like a Fiero seats in it. Though that's probably going to change. I know from driving around my other truck, it's actually a pretty rough ride. I wouldn't mind getting something like an air ride seat out of a semi in this truck instead. Kind of help cushion the ride. But for Christmas, I got replacement window on this side. But there's still no drivetrain. I want to run a 5.3 liter, and I actually had one, but now it's going in my other truck, and so there's that. Then, but I gotta get U-bolts for this side. And you see the spring is narrower than the pad I use. This is the pad off the from the axles, because the other pad, the bolt spacing was wider, I think. I don't exactly remember at the moment. Might be in one of my videos. Like this arm I had to change out of an earlier style, like a 70s four-wheel drive. Because in the 80s it actually kind of comes back and loops around. I know, I figured I always just built some spacers or whatever to kind of hold it in there. And eventually I want to get going on this. You know, the other part that's kind of holding it up is my indecision on a transmission. I want to run a manual. Okay, I just mounted those blinkers on there. But I want to run a manual transmission, and I want to keep it 4-wheel drive. But I don't want to run a 4-speed manual. I want to run a 5-speed or like 6-speed or something like that. So I can go down the highway pretty nice and not scream whatever engine I got in here. So that leaves me with like a NV9, or what's it, NV 4500, I think they are. That's in 90 Silverados and stuff. But the problem is I know the transfer case is going to drop down on the wrong side, because they changed that when they went to the front end independent suspension. On this side it drops down on the passenger, but on those newer trucks it drops down on the driver's side. So there's that. So then I might run with a 2-wheel drive transmission, but then I gotta get a divorce transfer case, and I don't want to use the original transfer case from this truck, even though it's a divorce, because I don't know if that would take the RPMs like the newer transfer cases. I mean, it's definitely built because the transfer case is heavy, but then also the transfer case would be too far forward if I used the original mounts, so then we would have to change the mounts if I would run like a 2-speed 5 or a 2-wheel drive 5-speed, because that transmission is going to be longer. And then we'd also have the issue with floor shifter might get pulled back too far. That'd be my other worry. Where like right now with the granny 4-speeds and stuff, that's all going to come out right in the center, right where it's supposed to. I'm worried that the other ones are going to come out too far back, and that might not work too well. Not sure. So that's where this is sitting. That and the pedal assembly. On these trucks, everything bolts onto the bell housing. Well, since the bell housing isn't going to be a V8 Chev small block bell housing, I can't use the original bell housing, so all the pedals, mounting and stuff like that's going to have to get changed, and all that stuff's expensive, so kind of holding off on that. Not entirely sure on how I'm going to resolve any of that, but I wanted to start working on this again this year, but everything else I've been touching has been breaking, so hopefully this coming winter this will be back in my garage. So we'll shoot for this winter to come back to working on this project. Here's my Alice Chalmers WC. I rebuilt the car, did the magneto on it. Still gotta find a starter, but we tried hand starting it and it wouldn't go. So right now I got the intake off. There's like a metal heat plate here, and that's rotted out, so I don't know if the intake is bad and it's getting air in through there. But this engine block also has a crack in the block. Now, yeah, you can kind of, there's like, they ground it out, it looks like, but it's like a crack that runs the whole length of the block. So I don't know if it's even worth screwing around with this engine. I mean, I didn't realize the crack was there until after we pulled the intake, and then this putty, big chunk of it just snapped off. So, don't know what's the future of that. Part of me thought about maybe even, make sure my grandpa's not around, but hot rodding it. I got a V8 sitting on my garage floor that I thought about would look pretty sweet in here. So I know he'd be totally against it. You don't hot rod tractors, you leave them original. But there's the magneto. It works, we got spark. So it's got to be fuel, and I can't spin it over fast enough by hand to do a compression test. So unless we got stuck valves or something like that, which could be, so I might have to pull the valve cover off. But then for the wheels, I thought about just taking off all the spikes, and my uncle's got some tires that are bad. They're weather checked, and just bolt the tires with carriage bolts onto the steel wheel. So that way, because these will rip up the yard if you drive the tractor around. So, other than that, there's no clue on how soon I'm going to get to this project. I mean, she's rough. I mean, tractor's been sitting right in that spot until we pulled it out when I wanted to putz with it for 30 years. So, if not longer. You can kind of see it with the front rims are just completely disintegrating. The fuel tank needs to be worked on. There's holes in the tank. She's rusted out. So, yeah, she needs work. I mean, she was sitting right behind that H. Yeah, that's an update on the Alice Chalmers. This is what a nice WC looks like. It's my grandfather's. Got a saw rig on the front. It runs. They don't use it very often, but she does run. They like to use it in the winter. With the saw rig on it, it's good for getting wood. But yeah, she's a pretty sweet tractor. The Army truck here. This is updates. I got a part on order for it. New brake master cylinder, so you can get some brakes back. Right now I just use the parking brake as a brake, which you don't go fast enough to really need them, so it's not a huge deal. Right now she's got a load of wood in the back, but my buddy's got the side covers. We got them blasted, and we're gonna get some paint. Eventually gonna paint the whole truck, but I kind of want to pull the bed off, and either I don't know what I want to do yet with that, because this truck, this is not originally a dump bed, so and that hoist set up in this truck is not original, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not too worried about originality, because I mean, after all, I got an HEI distributor and a different carburetor on it. But other than that, I mean, I just put a battery on her and she fires right up, so runs pretty good. Except definitely could tell there's some lacking power. There's a couple cylinders. There's one cylinder with like 60 psi. Actually, I should probably do a compression test here. Maybe some of the running I've done helped it out, but yeah, she's definitely a little low on power, so sure feels like it. But whatever, she runs, she moves. It's pretty nice. Here's an update on the red 86 Fiero. Not much farther than where I was when I kind of self-etched or primered the one spot. Though, just now, I kind of put the motor on a stand and kind of been tearing it apart. I wanted to make sure it had the good gaskets in it. It does, so I'll just buy some new gaskets, because I didn't know if these were changed or not. It really gives me time. I can clean everything up. I mean, that's pretty nasty, so at least clean that stuff up. And I gotta watch some videos. There's some kind of a port job you can do on these intakes in the bottom of these blowers to get a little bit more power out of them, so I gotta look that up. I thought it was something also you kind of ground down the rise section too, or unless it was the later gens that had the divider or something. I don't know. I gotta look. I gotta watch some videos. Do a little bit of looking online. But that's kind of the update on the car. Not much, but definitely getting somewhere. I know I bought that sandblasting cabinet off of Facebook Marketplace, and that will help me at least powder coat my A-arms and stuff, so I can blast it. I still gotta buy a powder coating gun, but yeah, that's kind of where this project's going. So gonna probably order some parts for it today.
The white 86 Fiero. Update. Well, she's still smashed up. As though you can't tell by that. I have a fastback piece for it. I won't have taillights. But, I mean, if I put a battery in this, I could drive the car around. But you see the tire's a little jacked up, so that's where I gotta focus on. But I kind of wanted to do it to the car anyways. I want to get rid of the GT bumpers and go with like the SE bumpers, I think they are. They're smooth yet. They don't got that piece that sticks out. They're still smooth like this, but they don't got the lower ground effect. So I want to run those on this car. And I'd like to do a North Star swap to it, but we'll see about that. I guess if I could just get the car running or back on the road now, I'd be happy. But then inside the car here is the transmission for the Stealth. So, since that's what I was working on when I got in the accident. So, that's a short update on the white 86 Fiero.
Here's the 85 Camaro. Got this for free. It's actually a set of louvers for an 85 Camaro, or a louver. But as it sits right now, no engine. But I got a nice tubular subframe in it that still needs to be all adjusted and everything. So I got an engine by a guy's shop, just a 350 that needs some welding done to it. And I just want to put an engine in it, transmission, kind of get everything aligned and fixed up. So when I fix my 383 stroker, then that'd be ready to go. So there's the update on the 85 Camaro.
There's the 96 Camaro. Kind of hard to do an update on this. But really there isn't much of an update. It runs and drives. And I just got to put a battery in it. And within the next, probably this weekend, I'm going to come, or next week, since I got off one of my jobs, I'll come and uncover her and bust her out. I got to do some figuring out with the window on it, adjust the window or something, because on the door, because the window isn't sealing, and when it rains it leaks into the car, so the driver's floor starts holding water, and well, that's a good way to rust out your car. Oh boy, we got some rebels doing burnouts. But yeah, not much of an update. I guess future plans for the cars, I got to get the engine rebuilt. Cam bearings are going out or whatever. The oil pressure is slowly getting worse, and I'm getting a lot of metal shavings in the oil. So I either got to rebuild my one engine on my shelf or have this one rebuilt. But yeah, so that's the 96 Camaro.
Here we got the Stealth, the 91 Stealth. It needs an engine. That's it. As in updates, there is no updates. Nothing's been done to it. I think for engine options, I gotta call some machine shops, but with the whole coronavirus thing going around, I think that might be a little on the difficult side. So, yeah, I might just end up going with a crate engine. Looks like she's really starting to really twist. Go with a crate engine. Maybe, I don't know. But if I go with the crate engine, I kind of want like a 93 or newer. So you got 4-inch cranks in them. But everywhere I look, you can only get the crate engines from like 91 through 92. So I'd hate to spend that kind of money for not as a good of an engine. So
Yeah, I got to do some little bit more looking, but I think that's where this one's going to go right now. Just get a crate engine in it, because then it's good. I mean, fix the drive shaft because the bushings for the carrier bearings are bad. Do that, and then that's pretty much about it. I mean, this car would be ready to sit and go. So yeah, that's the stealth update. Here's the '89 Thunderbird Super Coupe. I got it for free, but it runs. Got a title. Just it has a lot of the same problems as my Cougar, as there's no headlights. But got a clean title with it. It runs. Total race car though. Proper gearbox in it. Transmission out of this car, pedal assembly, all that's going to go in my Cougar. So I'd like to maybe find if I can find a different shifter, because this thing's pretty, it's in gear. It's still pretty sloppy. So yeah, that's the, I guess there really isn't much of an update on this car. I got it running. I guess that's an update. No battery right now, so I can't start it at the moment, but you got to jump start the solenoid to get it to go. But I think what I'm going to do is, one, I'm keeping the wheels. And there really isn't a lot of good parts in this car. But I want the front end, the hood, bumper, do the headlights. I'll put that on my Cougar since my Cougar's all banged up. And I personally don't like that particular styling of the Cougar with the grill that wraps up under the hood. So I think that'll look better than the Cougar's, my opinion. But yeah, quick update. Well, here's the Cougar. I need some air in the tires, but I'm not a big fan of the way the grill is. My very first car was a '93 Cougar, and that was smooth, so the grill was only as big as the headlights. I never cared for this body style, that styling where the grill goes up into the hood. Other than that, the car runs, and runs pretty good. But it doesn't have overdrive. And this entire interior needs to be probably gutted, cleaned, and put back in, or most of it, because it smells like mice sex. Other than that, I mean, if it wasn't for the overdrive not working, this car drove pretty good, actually. It needs a brake line. Up the hood here. So, like, my plan with this car is I'm gonna do that 5-speed swap, and kind of clean things up into here. And I like to get the car painted white again, like my first Cougar. I'd like to do exactly what my first Cougar looked like. And that is, it was white. I eventually want to look for like a '93 front end. So the hood, headlights, and grill, and the bumper. And then I want to do the same thing I did on my first car. I carved out the word Mercury real nice. And I put a light behind it. And that was cool. Then on my first car, we had a black pinstriping down the side of it. And that was electrical tape, just because being a young punk in high school, no money for any of that stuff. Though on this car, I'd like it more professionally done. And then from that body line right below the door, or right on the bottom part of the door here, I want to paint all that red down below, all the way around. And then on the front bumper, we had it come to like a point. And then on the third brake light, I took paper and I carved out the word Cougar in there, so when I hit the brake lights, it'd say Cougar. So that is the update and plan for this car, and then I just drive it. I don't know if I'd keep those taillights though. The Cougar ones were, the other ones were kind of cool too. Not sure on that. But yeah, that's the Cougar. The K30. 84. I don't remember the last time I did a decent walk around video of this truck, but I since got bumpers on it. The 5.3 I swapped in, it's got a cracked block. I guess kind of hard to tell with the header in that way, or manifold. But gotta finish pulling the motor out of my parts truck. Got a 99 Silverado parts truck, and that engine's gonna go in here. That's like a 60, not even, I think it's like a 30,000 mile crate engine in it. So this truck should then be rock solid for a long time. Hopefully. So we'll see how far that goes. I kind of want to use everything from that Silverado. I want to use all the coolant system, the radiator, the hoses, everything. And then probably the fuel tank too. So that way I got the right fuel pump. I mean, getting parts would be easy. You're not screwing around with aftermarket companies and stuff like that. Factory stuff tends to last pretty good. I mean, I got a 99 Silverado now with a blown engine. And that thing's got 232,000 on it, so I made it that long. This truck's gonna probably outlast me at this point. But she needs rockers, cab corners. I have the rockers in one of the cab corners. Rust. So, but yeah, that's the update on the K30. Here's an update on both of our trucks. Had to get the cross member out. So we got the cross member out of the diesel. And we still got to do this one yet. So hopefully this weekend that'll get done. Then this one's probably going to get scrapped out. She's pretty well junk. And that'll be its replacement. So, no, not really a whole much more to go on this, other than that this entire drivetrain out of this truck is going in this truck. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on that. Now the most dependable car I've ever owned, the Reatta. Update on this car. I kind of Frankenstein my headlights together after hitting a deer. So a little bit more trimming needs to be done. On that side it needs to be leveled off more. That side needs to be cut up a little bit higher because it kind of blocks my high beams. And then I got to, I want to make some sheet metal that kind of then will fit in here. Kind of hide some of this stuff. And egg out one of these holes for a little bit more of adjustment because they're aimed out just a smidge too much. And I got the adjusters turned all the way in, so won't go any further than that. But as it sits right now, the starter went out on it. Bought a new starter, went to go put it in, and I'm using a 1/4-inch ratchet to tighten it and snap the lead that goes from the ignition switch to the starter or to the solenoid on the starter. And that broke, so yeah, I gotta get another starter for it. Unfortunately, like whenever I get a starter for this thing, it's gotta come from it's gotta circle the globe twice, so it's usually like a week to get a starter for it. And I've yet to order one, so I gotta order another starter. That's the update on the Reatta, and I think that's all of them. I'm probably missing a car. That's what happens when you own a lot of them. If anyone interested, there's my little four-wheeler with a hole in the tire. Then I go patch the tire today, and the rubber cement that's part of my tire kit. The bottle was empty, the little plastic tube. So, but there's the hole. So, other than that, it's an okay machine. I got a bunch of guards out because I'm constantly tinkering with it. It's a lower mileage machine. Let's see, what do we got here? Hours, 160 hours. Odometer, 949 miles. 90 miles on this trip, which I don't ever set tack. So, yeah, it's all right. Sat for quite a few years, and I think that's a lot of the problems. Like the winch works like crap. That's why this is like this. Then this hooks onto my snow blade, so it kind of acts as like a pulley setup. Then it'll lift it up, or if I just run the hook straight to the blade, it won't pick the blade up. So, I don't know. Should get painted. Should paint it army green. Match the green on the four-wheeler. Slowly, going to turn into like an army truck. Yes. Here's a little update on my little red S10, also known as the shit 10. Pretty good little truck. Treat me pretty good here, since everything else I got is blowing up right now. So she's been pretty good. Update, future plans, anything? Nothing. I gotta fix a rear leaf spring that is broke. Got it pretty ghettoed fixed at the moment. You guys are about to see some custom redneck ingenuity. This middle spring is broke, so it kind of flops around and bounces off the side of the tire, which is not good for things. But other than that, pretty good little truck. Floors are starting to get bad on it. Door pin, or the door hinges are shot on the driver's side for sure. The passenger side. Nope. That side's pretty good. This side's bad. Like bad to the point where I gotta reach outside and use the outside door handle to go up. I mean, you can kind of see right there, it's actually egged out. So the hinge is junk at this point. Changing a bushing ain't gonna fix that. But yeah, just run it. That's my little S10. Here's an update on my Chevy Silverado, also known as the Shitterado. 235,000 on her. Picked it up for $500, had to stick a rear end in it. And yeah. Unfortunately, this is the end of this truck. Because let's see here. 232,412 miles is all she made her. Ready? I lost all oil pressure. And she's got oil in it. So that's the end of the truck here. That sucks. An update on the Focus. Within the last like 3 hours, it's a perfectly good car. No, well, not perfectly good, but a lot better than this. She went places where Focuses don't belong, and didn't make it. So, little overlanding in the A Ford Focus. Good times. Here's the 504. I added a coolant catch can since, and other than that, I mean, this motor needs to be rebuilt. It smokes a lot, unless maybe it's just the cylinder head. I don't know, because the compression was good on all 4 cylinders. So, but I guess that's pretty much the update. I started painting some of it during the winter when I had the parts off, and my dirty handprints got it all screwed up. But we redid the emblem. Other than that, she could fire up quick. Hasn't ran in like 2.5 weeks. Starter doesn't work, and I went through like 2 push buttons. Just because it's sitting out in the rain, it just wrecks the push buttons. I mean, smokes a little, but not too bad. Notice that tire's going flat, but I gotta get back those actual tractor tires. And she's not smoking too bad right now up here. Actually, I should probably check the oil. That's probably why it ain't smoking. But when it's warm, it idles, but yeah, fired up pretty good. Here's the Weldon. I got the hood off of it. Hood's pretty banged up, but currently got the cylinder head off. Here's a bunch of the parts. Yeah, I mean, there's really, I gotta get the valve guides for it. We got the valves all free. The one was 2 of them were pretty bent, so we straightened them out and straightened out the push tube. Actually, the valves weren't bent, they were stuck. Push tubes were bent, and that's what we kind of worked on here a little bit. So that's a slight update on the Weldon. I do an update on the Riviera, the 73, but it's right now inside that shed and it's pretty buried. So the 73 update's gonna have to wait till next time. There's no immediate plans on that car just yet. So yeah, that's an update on the Weldon. Here's some more Rivieras. This has got the supercharged 3.8 V6 in it. This is the one I got stuck in our big snowstorm 2 years ago in April. It sucked. She's starting to mold a little bit. It sucked, because dang it, this car was a good running car. And when I got stuck, I mean, I was stuck. I had to crawl out the window to get out. And so I had a guy pull me out, and he handed me the chain. He said, "You hook it up to something that ain't gonna break." So I hooked it up to the front subframe rail that's not there because it broke, and it wrecked some of the wiring for the car and everything, and power steering lines, and actually it looks like this front subframe's sitting on the ground now, so moving this thing is going to be a nightmare. But the engine ran good, real good. And one of my initial plans was to take the seats out of this car and actually put them in the Army truck. The Fiero seats were kind of a temporary solution. My goal was to take these seats, which are actually extremely comfortable, and put these seats in that car, in that truck. But after riding my other Army truck, it's a rough ride. I don't think I want to really put up with that. So that's where I think the air ride seats are going to be much nicer. This is my 73 parts car, what's left of it. Steering box is still there. I got to get the seat out of it. I need the tracking out of it, actually. It's just kind of hard to get the seat out when you can't move the tracking to get at the back bolts. I also need the rear quarter glass, the window motors, these panels, and that back seat cover. That's pretty much all I need off the car. Other than that, yeah. So, and there's what's left of white power. Looks like a pretty whole truck until you walk around. And there's what's left of the frame. Oh, the frame's actually in good shape. Well, it should still be in good shape, it hasn't sat here that long. But the seat out of the truck, drive shaft out of a half ton, and some door panels, inner fenders. I gotta get these inner fenders. I'm gonna put those on the K30. And this box will probably go on the K30. Except, kind of looking at this here right now. I'll probably keep the front. I don't know how much of the back I can keep. We're gonna make our own bed sides, and probably gonna eventually have to get new fenders because I know these fenders were not in good shape. But see if we can make our own bed size and just make the truck a step side long box. They do sell new bed rails, but they're like $500 a piece, and at that point, just buy a regular box. So, yeah, that's the Army truck, or the white Polaris frame. Some stuff's doing some digging. Not much of a really an update for this, other than I got to finish parting it out. My cousin took the steering column out of it. So there's no steering column in her, but I want to rob the seats out of it. I want to get the engine out, transmission, a harness and stuff like that, and probably rob a lot of the little switches. I know this switch is going bad on mine. The little clip is broke on that white one up there, but this one also got a good hood on it, good front bumper. I kind of hit the rear bumper, which sucks because that's another thing I need on my car when I was plowing snow this winter. Got a little crazy, a little icy out. But yeah, that's the parts caddy.
The 05 Cadillac, what I know about it so far is the car ran and drove, and your previous owner snapped the ignition switch off, or snapped the key off in the ignition switch, and they shoved the wrong key in there is what I was told. I don't know how that works, but it ran for a little bit until the key kind of moved around inside the ignition in the tumbler, and now it's fucked. So the guy I'm getting it from, I actually have a parts car, an 04, and he pulled a column out of it, put it in his car. Everything works now, except the car won't start. If you jump the starter, he says it will run for about like 5 to 10 seconds before it shuts off, which he says when it does run, it runs really good. So that sounds like it's probably a security issue. security system in the car is not recognizing the key because the key was not programmed for the car. Then the 88 Firebird, I'm picking that up dirt cheap. Probably going to just drive the hell out of it, but it does need two things before I can drive the hell out of it. It needs an engine. I'm getting it dirt cheap. Unfortunately, it's a 305 two-port fuel injection, $700 for. It's the formula. It's not the Trans Am. It's got the turbo hood on it. It's white. Hard top, automatic, $700 for. It's got an open differential. It's not the original rear end to the car. The guy I got it from, he only owned it for a few weeks, and he's decided, or a few months, and he's decided it's a project he doesn't want to tackle. So that's why I'm getting it. And he said the guy told him they swapped rear ends in the car. It also needs a steering column. Someone tried stealing the car and they busted the ignition switch on it. So that I'm currently working with my buddy right now, and I'm getting a 305 from him that ran and drove just fine. It came out of his dad's vehicle, and his dad put like a 327 in it, and actually turning it into something. So I'm getting the old 305 out of that vehicle. So I just gotta get casting numbers off the heads to see if I keep the tune port heads or if I keep the heads on the other 305. But it does have a rod knock, and it's loud. So those are the two vehicles. Due to I don't have possession of either vehicle at the moment, that's why there's no video of it. So yeah, like I said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If there's any more information on any other vehicles you'd like to know, like I said, the links are going to be down in the description. Or if you just got other questions, comment. Well, have a good day.